As the 19th century gave way to the 20th, an American cookie company introduced something truly special. 2 crispy chocolate cookies sandwiching a rich, creamy vanilla filling. The creation found immediate success and has held its popularity for almost a century. The world still can't get enough. Food lovers globally are hooked on that flawless pairing of crunchy cookies and smooth, dreamy cream. And let's be honest, that milk dunk is the best part. It's practically an art form at this point. And honestly, one of the most deliciously fun ways to enjoy a sweet treat. Have you ever questioned the exact ingredients hidden between those 2 chocolate wafers? In today's video, we're taking you behind the scenes to uncover how the world's most popular cookie is made, and we'll even spill a few secrets hidden inside every irresistible bite. Oreo first hit the scene in 1912, created by the National Biscuit Company. What we now know as Nabisco, part of the Mondelez International family, a clean but classic design is what set this cookie apart from the rest. 2 deep cocoa wafers hugging a layer of creamy sweetness. Creamy white filling originally. Oreos were all about that classic combo. Rich, dark chocolate cookies with a smooth vanilla cream center. Of course, today, the flavor options are practically infinite to satisfy Oreo fans around the globe. Fun fact, the original 1912 Oreo looked nothing like the one we know today. It was a total departure from the modern classics, with the word Oreo proudly stamped right in the center. The journey of the world's most popular sandwich cookie begins well before the baking starts. The ingredients have to be prepared with serious care and precision. The core ingredients behind this legendary treat are surprisingly simple: all-purpose flour and sugar, cocoa powder, vegetable oil, salt and baking soda. The recipe centers around basic all-purpose flour. All the wheat used is grown locally within the United States to keep the cookie texture nice and smooth. The flour is carefully sifted to get rid of any lumps. And here's a pro tip: you want to mix the dough just enough. Excessive mixing can overdevelop the gluten, changing the cookie's texture, making the cookie tough instead of giving it that perfect light crunch we all crave. Also, using high-protein flour, a major no-go, as it messes with that iconic Oreo snap and soft finish. As for the sugar, Oreo uses fine white granulated sugar. This ingredient is likewise grown on family farms throughout the United States. They usually go with finely ground sugar because large crystals don't dissolve well, which can lead to surface cracking and ruin that flawlessly smooth finish, preventing that perfectly even finish that only powdered sugar can provide. It has to be sifted too, ensuring a seamless integration with the flour and cocoa. Interestingly enough, the dark chocolate wafer alone is surprisingly low in sweetness. The amount of sugar in the cookie dough is carefully balanced. It's only about 15% of the total dry ingredients. That way, the subtle bitterness of the cookie creates a stunning contrast with the decadent filling, sweet cream filling in the middle. Now let's talk cocoa powder, the true secret to that unmistakable Oreo cocoa taste. The cocoa is made from carefully selected cacao beans, mainly grown in places like Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, and Indonesia. After harvesting, the beans are roasted, milled and refined into the fine cocoa powder we recognize. But here's the secret to get that deep and in that near midnight hue and the velvety cocoa taste that's famous worldwide. Oreo uses alkalized cocoa powder, a process where the cocoa is washed in an alkaline solution to neutralize its natural acidity. This not only gives the cookie that intense dark color, which creates a deeply mellow essence, stripping away the bright, acidic notes of standard chocolate. If you used natural cocoa instead, the cookies would turn out lighter brown and have a slightly sour taste, a far cry from the iconic Oreo experience we've grown up with. The production of an Oreo begins with towering quantities of pure sugar, getting poured into giant mixers. To start building the cookie dough, after the sugar is measured out, the dark cocoa powder is introduced to the mix, followed by a pinch of salt and a handful of classified ingredients. Following the dry mix, a steady flow of canola oil is introduced, acting as the essential binder that transforms the dry mix into a velvety dough to achieve a workable dough, ensuring that each proportion is balanced with scientific precision: 40% flour, 25% dark cocoa powder, 15% sugar, 15% fat, while the remaining ingredients are the proprietary secrets that complete the legend. The whole mix gets blended together inside heavy-duty industrial mixers. Then here's where it gets interesting. Workers add water, and the dough starts to look like a thick, chocolatey soup. To control the temperature, they toss in dry ice. As the dry ice evaporates, it rapidly cools the dough, allowing the mixture to rest and stabilize for a solid half hour. Cooling the dough early is super important. Cold dough is much easier to handle and way less likely to crack when it's rolled out, which means the final cookies bake up perfectly crisp. And even, finally, a leavening agent gets added into the mix, completing the rich chocolatey dough ready for the next step: crafting the legendary Oreo shape. Once the dough is dried and ready, the dough is whisked away to the precision stamping unit for its final transformation. Workers scoop the dough onto a conveyor belt that feeds it into giant rollers. These rollers press the dough into those familiar little circles we all recognize, and at the same time stamp in the signature Oreo design. The stamping machine presses the iconic Oreo logo, stamping that intricate wreath motif onto every individual wafer in the blink of an eye. It's a small detail, but honestly, it's a game changer. That kind of visual identity can skyrocket a cookie's desirability by nearly 90%. Let's be real, slap a cool logo on anything, and it automatically looks way more delicious. This shaping machine cranks out up to 6,000 Oreos every hour, keeping the production line moving at an absolutely insane pace. After getting perfectly shaped and stamped, the raw Oreo cookies continue their journey down a long steel conveyor belt, heading straight into massive industrial ovens. Once inside, the temperature skyrockets to bake that signature crunch. Kept steady between 340 and 360 degrees Fahrenheit. To bake the cookies just right, they only spend about 10 to 12 minutes inside. Just enough time to get that perfect kisiritis, achieving that signature crispness while maintaining a tender, melt-in-your-mouth core. The result, a light. That signature snap and flawless crunch that's become a household staple. Believe it or not, the oven spans a massive 400 feet, roughly the length of a football field and then some, providing ample room for each wafer to enjoy a gradual, even ride through the intense heat, making sure they're baked to absolute perfection before moving on to the next stage. As soon as the cookies come out of the oven, they're blasted with cool air from giant industrial fans to quickly bring down the temperature. This rapid cooling helps lock in that perfect crunch and keeps the cookie structure nice and stable. Then they roll onto another conveyor belt, where a vigilant quality control team stands ready to inspect every batch, their focus fixed on the infinite parade of dark chocolate wafers. Any cookies that are cracked, anything deformed or overly browned is plucked from the conveyor in the blink of an eye, making sure only the best of the best move forward. Rows and rows of Oreo cookies flow down the belts, twisting and turning through the factory like the endless flow of a chocolate whirlpool, creating a scene that's both crazy busy and absolutely mesmerizing to watch. While the cookies are being baked and prepped, the creamy vanilla filling is also being made with serious precision and quality control. It all starts with the key ingredients: powdered sugar, vegetable fat, corn syrup, natural or artificial vanilla flavoring, and a small amount of emulsifier, precision-dosed by automated systems following a strictly guarded chemical formula. Massive quantities of powdered sugar and shortening are funneled into colossal blending vats, where high-speed mixers whip everything together in a carefully temperature-controlled environment to prevent any oil from separating. Once the sugar and fat are whipped up into a smooth, fluffy mixture, corn syrup is slowly added in to give the cream its signature stretchiness and help it stay moist at the same time. Vanilla flavoring is blended in to create that sweet, irresistible aroma we all know and love. The entire mixing process is kept cool, between 68 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, making sure the cream stays soft and silky, but thick enough to hold its perfect shape. When it's piped onto the cookies, once the cream is perfectly mixed, the mixture is then channeled into a state-of-the-art automated delivery system where tiny nozzles precisely squeeze out the perfect amount of filling for every single cookie. The pumping speed and cream output are fully synced with the cookie assembly line, keeping the whole line perfectly in sync. Half of the Oreo cookies are neatly lined up on the conveyor belt. Metatakinsinin Aninen Athanek, topped with a flawless ribbon of sweet vanilla creme, is piped right onto the center of each one, at just the right height and size to create that classic Oreo look. Then the other half of the cookies gently drop on top, pressing down just enough to spread the cream evenly, without messing up those clean edges. The look we love, but check this out. Each line can crank out an insane 3,000 finished Oreos every single minute. Once the cookies are sandwiched together, they are whisked directly into a high-velocity cooling chamber, where the cream firms up, locking everything into place and making the cookies easier to handle and package. Throughout the entire assembly process, strict quality control checks are in place, and any batch of cream that doesn't meet Oreo's high standards, it's pulled off the line immediately. Only the best make it through. Finally, the fully assembled Oreos make their way into the automated packing station. These super skilled robot fingers neatly group the cookies into sets of 11. Mechanical clamps gently grab each bundle and place them carefully into waiting plastic trays. Once the trays are full, they're sent over to the packing station, where the cookies are sealed up nice and tight and packed into boxes, ready for shipping from there. Those boxes of Oreos are sent all over the world to distributors, supermarkets, and yep, probably right onto your kitchen shelf too. But let's be honest, keeping these cookies sealed up for more than a few minutes, once you're home, the temptation is simply too strong to ignore. What about you? What's your all-time favorite Oreo flavor?
With Oreo.